And a pleasant late morning, early afternoon here at Cousins Gymnasium, and welcome to the JumboCast coverage of the second game of today's action at the New England Invitational. In the first game, Marymount from Virginia were bested by Bowdoin in straight sets. And right now we have the University of Minnesota Morris against Tufts University. Tufts, the number 23 ranked team in the nation, won yesterday night over RIT here in Cousins. And meanwhile, the University of Minnesota Morris won yesterday against UMass Boston and then also beat Marymount in straight sets. I'm Charlie Driver here with my colleague Freddie Birnbaum. Freddie, what kind of game do you think we'll have today?
Well, we're just getting our first looks at these teams at the start of the season, but we're coming in with Tufts as a nationally ranked team, so we're hoping to see good things come out of them here in their home court. And Morris coming in off a couple wins with a winning record, so they might have some momentum, some energy, and hoping to prove themselves at this invitational tournament.
Yeah, Morris have come out from the chilly plains of Minnesota to the hilly, humid climes of Massachusetts to play in Medford for the weekend. And they're coming in with a 5-2 record, and they're 2-0 away, trying to improve to 3-0 at this noon tip-off. Meanwhile, the Jumbos are 2-0. They started a little later because here in New England we get back a little after Labor Day. But they beat Clark midweek, and yesterday, as I mentioned, they beat RIT 3-1. And we're about 30 seconds here from the countdown clock kicking off to noon. And we'll get the national anthems and the lineups in just a sec.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cousins Gymnasium on the campus of Tufts University for today's New England Invitational Volleyball match between the visiting University of Minnesota Morris Cougars and the host, Tufts University Jumbo. Now let's meet today's starting lineups. First, for visiting Minnesota Morris, a sophomore from Brownton, Minnesota, number 2, Lane Herman. A senior from Webster, Minnesota, number 5, Marissa Eknes. A sophomore from Parkers Prairie, Minnesota, number 8, Sierra Nori. A sophomore from Twin Valley, Minnesota, number 9, Morgan Miller. A junior from Heron Lake, Minnesota, number 12, Rachel Matias. A senior from Sauk Center, Minnesota, number 15, Katie Reitzman. A senior from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, number 16, Becca Morris. Head coach of the Cougars is Lauren Torvey. She is assisted by Mike Bryant, Heather Montani, and student assistant Hannah Kennedy. And now for the host Jumbos. A sophomore from North Canton, Ohio, number 1, Kelly Climo. A junior from Austin, Texas, number 6, Angela Yu. A sophomore from Granite Bay, California, number 8, Bridget Bell. A junior from Duxbury, Massachusetts, number 9, Mackenzie Bright. A sophomore from Round Rock, Texas, number 12, Christina Wongpa. A sophomore from Palatine, Illinois, number 13, Heather Holtz. A freshman from Weston, Florida, number 14, Jordan Cron. Head coach of the Jumbos is Cora Thompson. She is assisted by Madison Smith and Brian O'Keefe.
And I guess I forgot one of my basic rules of the NCAA, which is when you have back-to-back games like we have here, don't have to play the national anthem again. So we're going to get down a little quicker than we usually would because we don't have to salute America just again yet. And we're going to get underway. Little huddle first, and then we'll get ready to start.
Interesting note about the Jumbos, they have freshman Jordan Cron starting. She must have come in with a good reputation and already proven herself, or maybe she's just getting a first chance. We'll see how she does in this game. We'll be looking out.
I believe she started yesterday and did fairly well. So hoping to continue on that good streak today is Crone. And it's Cougars and Jumbos here. A battle of the Animal Kingdom in Cousins Gymnasium in Medford, Massachusetts. Libero subs in for the Jumbos. That's Kelly Klimo. She's going to replace for this play Heather Holtz, the sophomore from Palatine, Illinois. And the libero for the Cougars is Katie Reitzma, number 15 from Sauk Center, Minnesota. And the Jumbos are going to start this one off. Serving is number 6, Angela Yu, the junior. Hope she's filled up on her pregame meal of chicken nuggets as she gets this one underway here. Cougars deal with it well, and it's a block from Nwangpa. And that's in there. That's a point from Mackenzie Bright. A nice kill there.
Nice job by Wongpa trying to get up there on that first block. Couldn't quite block it, but was able to soften it up for the team to respond.
And another serve from Yu. That's going to hit the net and go out of bounds. It'll be another Jumbos point. The error there was on number 9, Morgan Miller. Yu's third serve, trying to make it 3 for 3. Serve goes over, knocked up into the air by the Cougars, and it's tipped over 2 Jumbos defenders. Back over. And a slam there. Nice defense from Klimo. And that was Bright there. And that'll be blocked, but out of bounds. Wongpa got the last hit on it before deflecting it over to the scorer's table. Nice point there for the Cougars, and they're on the board 2-1.
There's good point on both sides, lots of good defensive play. You could see both teams come in with some cohesion.
Sierra Nori on the serve, and her opposite number, Bridget Bell. A little error there, couldn't quite get it, and it went out of bounds. And we have a tie game 2-2. Excuse me, serving is Lane Herman. There's another one from her. Bell gets it this time. Yu hits it up. Slammed over by Bright. Cougars now. And it looks like the foul called. I think it a double touch maybe by the Jumbos. Point to the Cougars. Another serve here from Herman. Another defense from Bell. Yu on the set. Nwangpa on the attempted slam. And that'll get a double touch there by Herman.
The quick play by Nwangpa there, putting it right over instead of hitting it back to her teammates, probably confused the defense a little, didn't allow them to prepare properly. And we're back for the Jumbo serve.
Here comes the serve. That's a serve from Alexandra Garrett. She's a service specialist on this team. Nice defense there from Yu. Klimo forearm passes it up. And knocked over and out of bounds there by number 14, Jordan Crone, the freshman we were talking about earlier. Marissa Eknes serving, senior from Webster, Minnesota, perhaps the most important member of this Cougars team. One of the most impressive, too. More on that later as Nwangpa nails a kill there.
Nice hit just through the defense. None of the Cougars were close enough to make a play, and not much they could do as it hit the ground.
Holtz returns to the game for the Jumbos. Klimo on the serve. And Herman sets it up and slammed down. Nice defense there from Yu, gets out of the way. Crone hits it over. Here's Klimo, forearm pass. And Bridget Bell, nice placement, but Herman gets over to it. Reitzma gets over to it. Here's Yu now, sets it up. And Bridget Bell slams it down, but the Cougars keep it on.
Lots of good all-around play on both sides, neither team finding spots.
And a long rally there is ended by number 9, Morgan Miller, who sticks her hands over the net and taps it down. Nothing the Jumbos could do about that. Good play by the Cougars. Into the game comes Hannah Godzilla, the sophomore, wearing the rec specs there, and she's getting ready to serve.
Up for the Cougars, number 1, Hannah Gonzalez.
And it's a nice serve defended by Bell. U-sets. And a nice block from the Cougars. That's Godzilla on her first in-play action. And block didn't quite work out there for the Jumbos. They set it up, they got a hand to it, but it came off of Holtz's arm and went into the net and down.
That's the second attempted block by the Jumbos that didn't quite go as planned.
Godzilla's second serve now. And Crone is blocked. Bell's turn now. And Godzilla can't necessarily rein that one in, and it'll go all the way back and hit the fan in the back of the gym. 5-6 right now. Minnesota Morris up 1. Still in the first set.
It was a nice attempt there, but she couldn't quite handle the power of that hit, and it made it past her.
Rachel Furash, the sophomore from Westlake Village, California, one of the sizable California contingent here, takes this serve. Defended. And the slam down is going to get in there. A really nice placement from number 5, Marissa Eknes. She led the team with kills last year, 503. That's 4.75 kills per set, which was good for 5th in the nation. So the girl from the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference making her team proud here and last season. Service here. And that's Bridget Bell. Eknes on the defense. And there she is again. Just a little tap over, and it'll be sent back by the Jumbos. Has to get over there, and it does. Nice save. And here's Bridget Bell now. And she did all she could, but Katie Reitzma couldn't quite get that up off her forearm into the arms of a teammate. And it'll be a Jumbos point. Substitution for the Jumbos now. Number 5, Alexander Garrett, coming off to be replaced by Mackenzie Bright, who started this game.
Interesting play there, as neither team quite hit a groove, and they were just diving for every ball.
Bell here. Reitzma defends. Up it goes. Klimo gets over to it comfortably, but awkward placement, and Jumbos were a little lost there thanks to the error from Klimo.
Now serving for the Cougars, number 16, Becca Morris.
Becca Morris here for the Cougars. She'll serve. Klimo defends. Tip down. Ooh, and a nice defensive play there from the Jumbos. That was Furash on that dig. And the attempted block by Maddie Stewart goes out of bounds, and it'll be a 3-point lead for the Cougars, 9-6.
And that's the third Jumbos block that has been either deflected out of bounds or back down into the ground.
Mars serves again. Klimo up, and that's going to make it right to the end, and it's knocked down by Rachel Matthias, just reaching over. Needed a little more power on that forearm pass from Klimo. Didn't quite get it, and we'll take a timeout. 9-6 here, and we'll have 1:15 for this timeout. So what are your first thoughts here, Freddie? Seems pretty balanced.
So far it seems pretty balanced, but it looks like the Jumbos defense aren't quite hitting the groove they want. Some of Klimo's service returns are going too far over the net, allowing easy points for the Cougars, and a couple of those blocks have gone awry. Cougars have not had any of those errors so far. They seem to have a clean play going.
We had some good rallies in there, but it seemed that at the end, as the Jumbos lost their lead and swung back into the rear in this game, that they lost a bit in communication. They'll try and remedy that with a team talk by Cora Thompson, now in her 15th year at Tufts, not counting the 4 that she spent here as a player, graduating in 1999. She's trying to take her Coach of the Year statistic up to 6 overall. She's won 2 of the last 3 in the NESCAC. And we're back with Becca Morris still on the serve. 6-10. Jumbos behind here. And Morris looking to make it 11. Klimo up. That's Furash. And a nice hit there by Mackenzie Bright, but the Cougars will defend. And that's Hannah Eknes. Klimo gets it off the deflection. Up by Furash. And down there. Nice play by Maddie Stewart, the sophomore from Menlo Park, California. Cougars tried to defend it, but it was just hit too hard.
And that's the cleaner play. They were missing the last few points with the nice passes and the block tipping it back instead of out.
Holtz now. Defended by Stewart. And Eknes will get it over. That looks like a net infraction and a Cougars point. A Jumbo's point there.
Looked like she might have hit the net on her hit.
Holtz will serve a second time. That'll hit the net, but nice adjustment by the Cougars. And a slam down there, easy as you like, by Rachel Matthias. And she's going to come out of the game after that nice contribution to be replaced by Morgan Miller.
And for the Jumbos, the libero Kelly Klimo is back in, replacing number 13 Heather Holtz.
That's served by the libero Reitzma for the Cougars. Is down, but then she can't get it on the defensive end. Tried to jump and reach it, but it went over her head and dropped in right before the byline. That's a Jumbo's point. Couple of changes for the Jumbos. Bell and Crone back on. And they've pulled the deficit back to within 2 with 3 at the break. And here's Yu's serve. And there's Bell again. Yu with the set. And a nice block there by number 9, Morgan Miller. Jumbos couldn't deal with that.
Cougars net defense has been really good so far this game. They've got a couple blocks and a lot of quick adjustments that they've needed to do off of hard plays, and they've done it all.
Lane Herman on the serve. That's Wongpa. And Herman can't get the defense there, and she'll lose her ability to serve. Go back to the Jumbos. In comes number 5, Alexandra Garrett for the Jumbos. And surprise, surprise, she's coming in to serve. She led this team in service aces, and in fact led the NESCAC in service aces. She had 50 last season. And won't get another one there. No one got a hand to it, but it did go out of bounds. Marissa Eknes now to serve. Surprising that she even is playing at this point in the season, Freddie. I'll talk more about that after this point. Klimo, and that's Bell with the slam, and that's in on the line. As I was saying, Eknes found out at the beginning of the summer that she actually had a melanoma, a skin cancer, and she was in treatment for pretty much all of the summer. And according to the great article that I found on University of Minnesota Morris's website, she had a lot of trouble getting herself out of bed in the morning, let alone play volleyball. But she fought cancer and she won, just like she's trying to win this game. As a nice play from Yu and the Jumbos defense. But it looks like that'll be a multiple point infraction, a double touch, excuse me. And it'll be Cougars point. But Eknes managed to overcome that diagnosis and get back to full fitness now. And she's leading her team in her senior year, playing in Massachusetts, which is, you have to say, incredible, Freddie.
It's really impressive. Not just the athletic skill that she's shown, but also the perseverance to have that diagnosis, go through the summer of treatment, and be back here playing already.
That was a nice kill by Holtz there in the meantime. Eknes's stats don't just include Survivor, though. She led the team with 503 kills last year. As I mentioned, she led the team with 39 aces, and she had 26 kills last game that led the team. Here's a serve, and that'll be whistled back. Not sure why about that, but Farash will get a second chance. 14-12 here in the first set. Minnesota Morris up on the host Jumbos. Farash there. Reitzma gets the dig. Tipped block from Bell. Klimo sets it up. There's Crone, and another nice block by the Cougars, and the Jumbos just can't recover from this net defense.
Definitely. The Cougars have knocked down every single time. All of their blocks have been clean and back over the net.
And the Jumbos have done nothing of the sort, Freddie.
Definitely. So when the Jumbos have been blocking, it's been deflecting to the side or back to their own court, where the Cougars are managing to block it back over the net.
Nori with the serve. And another nice block. Doesn't work out like the last one for the Cougars, but they'll get it back. Well, and a miscommunication by the Jumbos. Holtz thought that Klimo had it. Klimo, I don't think thought that she had it, but went for a diving attempt anyway and gets a hand to the ball. An arm, I should say, but it goes into the net. Here's another serve from Nori. There's Bell, forearm. And a nice one there by Heather Holtz. Nice kill for her.
And you could see that was a coordinated play with the low set from Bell there, put straight down. Normally you might see the higher set where the defenders have time to set up a block, but no chance there, was straight down.
Bridget Bell serving. It's up, and a nice block by the Jumbos. Klimo to Forosh. And that almost is finished off by Krohn. And there's a block that the Jumbos have been looking for. That's Heather Holtz again. She's been big since coming in.
From that point alone, they had 2 successful blocks, better than what we'd seen in the first half of this set.
Maybe it's turning around a little, but they're still down 2.
And here is another interesting part of this volleyball game is that the players clean up the court themselves. You can see Jumbo's going out with a couple towels trying to clean up a sweat spot or something else that they don't want to slip on.
They're not just student athletes here in Division III, they're also student janitors. And here's Bell. Another serve. Defended by Reitzma. Nice by Klimo to dig that one out. And an error there. Eknes couldn't quite get it. That was Mackenzie Bright on the spike.
Jumbo's back within 1. You can see him starting to gain momentum.
Bell serving to tie it. Awkward defense by Eknes, but Reitzma recovers, and Eknes again taps it over. Krohn gets it. Forosh up, and Bell over the net. And there's libero Reitzma. And a hard hit by the Cougars, but well defended by the Jumbos. Oh, and a little sneaky play there from Lane Herman. Looked like she was really going to strike it, but just tapped it into a space where no one could get to it, not even the libero Klimo.
Smart play there. They'd been sending a lot of hard hits over, and Jumbos had been dealing with them well, so they decided to try something different, and it worked out.
Morris's serve. Jumbos with it now. Nice defense by Bell. Not usually what she does, but she can do everything. Here's Klimo. Forearm passes it up. No, a little miscommunication again there from the Jumbos, but they manage. And a nice block there by Holtz and Bright. They've been doing a great job in the last spell as Klimo comes off to be replaced by Wamka. Little miscommunication on that high five, too. They missed. Tufts still within 1. Here's Holtz serving. And an error there. That was the Cougars' number 8, Sierra Nori. Couldn't quite get that pass to one of her teammates, and Reitzma couldn't track it down. And it's a tie game.
Jumbos will get another serve here.
Holtz this time for the lead. Taps off the net. Reitzma recovers. And Eknes, nice, and that she's going to get a point off of that. Error by the Jumbos. They couldn't quite get that pass to come off, and Holtz couldn't recover. Klimo replaces Holtz. And Reitzma serving now. And there's Bright tapping it over. Forosh on the recovery, and Bell trying to put it away, but nice defense. And really good defense there by Klimo on that slam. And that one will go for Eknes. Just too hard for Tufts to defend. And they're back 2 up. Reitzma will go to the service line once again.
That was a hard hit right at Forosh there. She couldn't quite get a good angle on it, ended up sending it right into the net.
And that'll go out. Nice eyesight there from Bridget Bell. Had enough awareness of her surroundings to know that that was going out. And Tufts will get it to serve.
And we have some substitutions in for Tufts. Angela Hughes coming back on. And
Angela Yu, one of this team's seniors from Austin, Texas, serves it. Nice job by the Jumbos at the net to block that. And that's Crone. Another nice block by the opposite team, the Cougars. And a tap over. Really good dig there from Klima. And there's Eknes. Jumbos get the block down, but the down is to their side of the net.
Again, that was one of those blocks where they get there, but they can't quite get it back over, and it came down on their side. Also, during that point, there seemed to be a little confusion on the Cougar side. Players tripping over themselves. It didn't affect the point at all because they were back on their feet ready to go when the ball came back, but something to be looking at.
We go to a timeout, and it's 20 to University of Minnesota Morris and 18 to the Jumbos here. So we have a little softer music playing in this interlude. Usually accustomed to rap here in Cousins. But it's a mellow Saturday afternoon, you know, sometimes we just want more independent stuff. That being said, I should be talking about volleyball since that's what we're here for. Jumbos have come out to take the court again, and the Cougars will not be long to follow them. Few unifying claps, and they're back out on the court here. To serve is number 2, that's Lane Herman. From Brownton, Minnesota, went to Glencoe Silver Lake High School. She's a sophomore. Also plays softball for the Cougars. And service wasn't that great there. Went into the net. She Herman, more on her, is she led the team on with assists last year. She broke the 1,000 mark and got in with 10:59. Here's Alex Garrett, service expert. Open for one of her patented service aces. Not going to get one here, though. That's up by Herman. And Eknes on the finish. Nice defense by Yu. That's Crone. Reitzma pretty easily gets that. And Klimo has a little more difficulty and can't get that one down. Point to the Cougars. Here's Eknes to serve.
Seen Cougars with some very aggressive offense, hitting it down almost every time with only a few of the smaller finesse plays. Jumbo's struggling defensively to respond to that.
That's Wongpa. Nice defense at the net by the Cougars. And Eknes has it again. Really good diving job there by Mackenzie Bright. And Eknes has another chance, but this time she can only get a flailing arm out to hit it into the ground. Jumbo's back within 1 as we're getting down to the end of this set. And we're not really sure who's going to take it.
Definitely could go either way. If either team picks up a couple points of momentum, it's all theirs.
There's Klimo. Eknes on the return. Klimo again. Yu sets it up, and that's Crone bringing it down. Swirling forearm pass by Klimo. But whatever works. Set by Yu. Smash by Bell. And a nice job by the Jumbos at the net. Long rally there, and that'll be an infraction. So the Jumbos will get out of there with a point and tie it up at 21.
And there we saw the Jumbos picking it up on the aggression a little with some hard hits and some cross-court hits. But well defended by the Cougars until the infraction at the end.
Klimo serves. Nice low serve, defended by Eknes. And a great job there by number 9, Morgan Miller. Jumbo's got, I think, a head to it in that case, but heads don't really good volleyball make. And so it'll be Cougars' point. Here's the sophomore Hannah Godsley. She's back in. She's going to take that serve from Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Defended by the Jumbos. And there's Crone. Dug out of there by Herman. And that's going to be out. Nice try by Becca Morris, but just a little too far. And the Jumbos will get a point back. We're going to have quite a few substitutions here. Furash comes back on, as does number 16, Maddie Stewart. Meanwhile, Godsla, that was her only action, and also Miller comes off for the Cougars. So a few new personnel. And it's going to be Mackenzie Bright's serve here. awkward return by the Cougars, but they make it work. It's up by Forosh, and Bell with a little tip. Really nice play by Bridget Bell, working for finesse rather than power. And there was nothing Reitzma could do after she dived to save that.
She went for the pancake there, which is, we have a timeout now, so I can explain. The pancake is a specific type of dig where the player dives and has their hand flat against the ground and the ball just bounces off of it. It's kind of a last-ditch effort there because there's not much control coming off of it, and you can see there she got her hand down, but it bounced behind her where none of her teammates could get to it.
It's still 12:30, not too late for brunch. So Tufts is up now at this timeout. So 23-22, we're playing to 25 for the set. So it's anyone's game yet. Teams are back out.
Rachel Furash with the serve here to end this timeout, and 2 good serves here, and that could be their set.
And here's Furash. Defended by Agnes, but not a real good forearm pass there. Just a little too much, carried it into the net, and that'll be Jumbos going up to set point here. Furash serving for set. And Farash again. Klimo now up. And a nice block by the Cougars. Klimo, forearm pass. Bell slams Reitzma. Digs it out. And Klimo again. Didn't like that, it seemed. But Bell gets the recover and tries to finish. Nothing going again. There's Farash, and that's going to be a jumbo set. Looked like a double touch from the Cougars, and Tufts takes a 1-0 lead so far in this game. A really tight, competitive first set, Freddie.
Definitely, we saw the Cougars coming out with a lot of aggressive offense, putting the Jumbos defense back on their heels. They had a lot of missed passes and some communication issues on the defensive end. They pulled it together a little bit towards the end of the set, but they were really saved with a bunch of points coming off of double touch infractions and a net infraction off the Cougars that stopped their own momentum before they could really get going and take a lead.
And you have to be able to win ugly is the big saying about good teams. And if the Jumbos want to be a good team, they have to be able to win sets like that where they are kind of all over the place.
And I can only imagine that after a quick water break here, they're going to get some talking too and hopefully get their organization together. And if they can come out and play clean like we saw them do in a couple of points, they could really pull ahead here.
Yeah, and if they're looking for inspiration for their success, they can just turn their ears to the speakers here, just playing a weird and remix of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car. Tracy Chapman, a notable Tufts alumni, Africana Studies major. And Fast Car, an excellent song. This remix, not so much.
And back to the court, we see the Cougars also in their huddle. They were probably talking about keeping up their good work. They were fairly consistent except for a few errors. So if they clean up those errors and are able to keep their aggressive offense into a momentum, they could pull ahead as well. From that first set, there's no clear team that seems to be playing better. It really is up in the air for whoever gets momentum and can get a good lead.
Yeah, it was really back and forth in that set. You could see no one really had a lead ever bigger than 3, and momentum was switching constantly. There was no huge jumbo run or Cougar run, and so that would be something to look for in this second set, I would say. Can someone assert their dominance in a way that we didn't see in that opening one?
And that sort of momentum could come from Alex Garrett for the Jumbos. We've talked about how she's one of the top servers in the NESCAC. If she can get some momentum with a couple aces and start a lead for the Jumbos, it could be hard for the Cougars to recover.
Teams are taking the court again. They switch sides. Tracy Chapman fades out.
And we'll see Klimo come in.
Yeah, she's going to replace Holtz. You gets a little high five there from Mackenzie Bright. High fives all around for the Jumbos. Reitzma comes in, replacing Rachel Matthias. Got to bring in the liberos after, such as the quirk of their role. And it's going to be the libero for the Cougars serving, Katie Reitzma. That's Bell there. Nice job with the block by the Cougars. Up by Herman. And Eknes tries for the finish, but her opposite number is able to defend. And Longpa, that's out of bounds. Nice hit, but not in the lines.
Great job by the Cougars front line there off the block. The block was good, but it went back into their own net, but they were still able to recover and put it over quickly. Without losing their offensive aggression, they kept it up.
Reitzman's second serve now. Bell cuts in front of Klimo and gets that one. That's Crone. Longpa tips it over. Nice job there. Head-to-head, Cougar versus Jumbo. And it's the Elephant who's the king of the court this time.
And there you could see a hard dig there, put the ball right over the net, so both blockers went up. Neither quite sure where the ball would end up, and Longpa was able to put it down.
Here's Klimo now, serving. Going back to defend are the Cougars. And that's Eknes. Took a tip, but Klimo deals with it. And that's Garrett. She may be good at serving, but she's not so good at that overhead attempt, and it'll go out of bounds for a Cougars point. Lane Herman now on the serve for the Cougars.
Number 2, Lane Herman.
And the Cougars have brought in one of their freshmen, Mia Frick.
Tipped over by Holtz. Really nice finesse play by her, just using a hand to get it over the Cougar wall and into space where no one was occupying. Changes for the Jumbos as Forosh comes in, as does Maddie Stewart.
Number 2, Rachel Farage.
Crone and Yu coming off for the Jumbos. Service by Forosh. Awkward hit there by the Cougars, but they recover all the way to get a point there over the attempted blocks of the Jumbos.
Very similar to the style of the last point that the Jumbos just got, where they tip it right over the block and past a diving defense person.
Here's Eknes, and her serve will go right into the net. Big thing statistically that I've noticed from the first set is the defensive capabilities of number 16 for the Cougars, Becca Morris. Freddie, if you take a glance at the scoreboard, there's one number that sticks out to you in terms of digs, and it's that Becca Morris has double the number of digs of any other player on the court, Jumbo or Cougar.
Definitely, she's got 10 so far.
As it's tipped over by Morgan Miller.
And of the other Cougars on the court right now, she's got 10. And well, they just switched up a couple players, but
yeah,
even still,
Eknes is second with 5.
Eknes has 5, but the sum of the other players right now is 9. She's got more than the rest of the team on the court.
Yeah, and she was second on this team in digs last year, hoping to be first this year, as that'll be a point for the Cougars, just a little too far from the Jumbos. Here's Godsla. And her serve is defended by Klimo, who loses her footing in the process. Slammed down by Bright. And a little too hard for Herman to get any power back. She just deadens it, and it falls to the ground. Point to the Jumbos.
Up serving for the Jumbos, we have number 13, Heather Holt.
And Cougars with some switching up.
An extended spell here for the Cougars from Mia Frick, a freshman. She's number 13. Eknes gets a defense. And a slam down by number 12, Rachel Matthias, is too much for the Jumbos to handle.
And we see Klimo coming back on there.
Serving for the Cougars, we have number 8, Sierra Nori.
Sierra Nori serving. That was Bright on the return. Diving dig by Reitzma there. And a nice play by the Jumbos there. Really good combination play between Forosh and Wongpa. And Wongpa is able to just get it down where no one is and get a point.
And we saw a point like that in the first set as well, with the low set right across to be put straight down. It doesn't give the defense time to recover.
So a nice kill by Wongpa and really good team play by the Jumbos. Meanwhile, that'll hit the net. Attempted slam by Matthias. A little unlucky for her. And it's 6-6 in this second set. And that'll go out of bounds.
Point to the Cougars.
Little ecstasy from Sierra Nori as she watches it go out of bounds. It's a little fist pump to her teammates.
Number 16, Becca Morris.
Becca Morris now serving. She's mastered digs, but can she master the serve? Not quite. Out of bounds.
Point for the Jumbos.
We've seen a lot more misplaced serves and a lot of errors this set, more than the first set. Interesting to see. I feel like normally you'd see the teams clean up as they warm up and get into the game, but a couple serves out of bounds.
And you would think that Garrett could change that, and she does, as Nori can't handle her serve. And Alex Garrett doing what she does best.
And giving Tufts the lead 8-7.
Second serve here for Garrett. Different result here as Reitzma covers it. Eknes tips it over. Diving by Garrett. She rolls over in the process. Crone with the slam, defended by the Cougars. And there's Eknes again. Nice set by Yu. And a nice block by the Jumbos there. Herman over. Eknes. And that'll go out of bounds. So a Jumbo's point there on a nice rally.
Incredible defense there. They had very little offensive action, but they were able to deal with everything the Cougars threw at them. And here we are with another timeout.
And it's 9-7 Jumbos, and they have looked good for that 9-7 lead so far, you would say.
Definitely, especially once the ball was in play. They had a couple service errors there, but now with Garrett serving, she's gotten a couple points for them, and we could start seeing them pulling away if she can keep that up.
And we've seen more success with the blocks and more success with the communication, which were the two drawbacks that they had in that first set.
Definitely, definitely. On the Cougar side, they've toned down the aggression just a little bit with a couple of those finesse tapping over the blocks, and it has worked well for them so far, but still down 2 coming out of this timeout.
Garrett still with the serve. Having a good spell here. We're just taking a break so the scoreboard can expire. Don't want a big buzz in the middle of play. 5 seconds now. It's an awkward silence befalls Cousins Gymnasium, filled by a few cries of skill bows.
And there it is. And they're ready to go.
And here comes Garrett. And that's a good serve. Hard to deal with there. So hard to deal with that Morris gets it off her forearms and up and out of play. And another really nice serve from Garrett. And here's one of those spells that we were talking about that can really switch a set and show who's the better team. That one, though, not as good as the others. Goes out of bounds.
Spoke just a second too soon there. As Garrett put that one out of play, switching the serve to the libero Reitzma.
Morris back in for the Cougars. There's Yu. Hit over by Garrett. Herman on the set. Eknes with the slam. And that'll go off the hands of Yu and be a Cougars point.
Hard play there because the ball was coming down so fast. She didn't have time to determine whether it was going to be in or out, but she also couldn't quite get a hit on it.
Reitzma with a serve. The other libero, Klimo gets it. Kron tips it over. Nice sliding dig there by Herman. Yu on the set. Wongpa on the little tap. Good defense by Eknes, and a better finish there by Lane Herman, taking advantage of a Jumbo's team that was out of position to poke it into a large space of open court in the corner.
Very well done there, seeing the play, seeing where players were clumped up near the net and able to get it past them to the back corner there.
Reitzma's serve dug by Garrett. And that'll be a misplay there by Sierra Nori. Tried to get it to go forward, ended up going back, and nothing could be done.
Up to serve for the Jumbos, number 1, Kelly.
And as the spinning volleyball on the big board proclaims, that was a kill. Klimo. Eknes on that. Tipped down by the Jumbos at the net. Really nice. Up to that point. Frantic play from the Jumbos. No one seemed to be able to get a good hit on it, and Klimo ended up trying to get a backwards forearm pass, and it sailed out of bounds.
Yeah, it seemed that there might have been a miscommunication there, or it was just in an awkward position for the Jumbos to deal with.
That's Holtz. Set by you. Finished by Bell. Denied by the Cougars. That's Morris and a player that I don't have on the program. Number 22. We'll get to the bottom of that.
And there you could see the Cougars bench got very excited by that block, as they should.
That's Garrett there, off the net, but dealt with by the Cougars. Nice play there by the Jumbos to recover that one. Klimo forehand passes it over to the other libero. Set and slam! That's Morris. And another Cougars point, and they're up 2.
And there was Andrew Ayush, who was able to get there but not able to do anything with it. And she just let it hit the ground.
And we'll have a timeout. Just trying to get to the bottom of the mystery here, which is the identity of the Cougars number 22, who is not listed in the program that the Jumbos have given us, or my notes, and not on the website either. So I'm afraid
we've been
it's a
stumped.
mystery.
That mystery aside, we have seen another lead change. The Jumbos took a little bit of a lead when Alex Garrett was serving. She was able to give them a couple points, but the Cougars just took it right back, and now they're up 13-11.
And it's not been based off of exceptional serving. It's just been based off of really good play.
Definitely, and we've seen a lot of good defensive plays on both sides, keeping it close here. Neither team is able to hit a groove. And we'll look to see if they're trying to try new offensive strategies. Maybe they're going to change up their players. We'll see as the Cougars get ready to serve.
Here's Herman. Beat you to it, didn't I? Herman serves. Bell deals with it. You on the set. That's Garrett on the attempted slam. And that's Morris. Klimo gets it back out of play, but kept on with the Jumbos. Bell again. Nice defense by Reitzman to rein it in. You sets for Bell again, and a block, but that'll go out of play. That's Morris at number 22 for the Cougars. Just couldn't get that block to go back inbounds on the other side of the net. Furash rejoins the game here to take this serve. Eknes over. Furash on the set. And Cougars got the block, but it got tipped up. Morris was the only one around it. She hit it, and you know with the rules, can't hit it again.
Exactly, and again, that's the second in a row where the Jumbos have managed to defeat the Cougars block that stymied them in the first set.
And that's the second point in a row, means it's once again a tied set. It's up there. Morris gets it over, and that'll be a point. Furash dives, but she can't get it to go back up in the air enough.
Now serving for the Cougars, number 5, Marissa.
Here's Marissa Eknes now. Just a little further than the Jumbos had intended, you would think. Furash sets it up for her teammate. There she is again. And that's Garrett coming forward, just deadens it a little. Klimo defends Morris is there. And Bell is blocked by Morris at number 22.
Again, we're seeing a very defensive game where each team needs to show their skill to get the ball back over the net, and they're ending with a block.
Agnes with another serve. Bell forehand pass. And that'll wind up getting down for the Jumbos. Not sure it was the intention from Heather Holtz to hit it just like that, but the miss hit works out.
Yeah, it looks like she wound up for a harder hit, and she just brushed it with her finger, sent it to the side, and found that front corner.
All's well that ends well, Freddie. Here's Bridget Bell serving now. Reitzma. And that's Miller with the kill. Nicely done by her. That's her third of the game. While Reitzma is going to come out to be replaced by Matthias. And Godsla is going to come in to serve, replacing Miller.
And we saw there a very quick point where a forearm pass went straight towards the net, was hit up and spiked down.
And that'll be out of bounds. Much too far for Godsla. Maybe she needs an adjustment on those rec specs. Meanwhile, we were talking about how the story of last set in terms of Cougars defense was Morris, Becca Morris. But in this set, it's not actually been Becca Morris, it's been Lane Herman, who's gotten herself up to 10 digs. Holt on the serve. That's tipped over by Morris. Dealt with by the Jumbos. Tipped over again. Awkward there by Reitzma. And that'll be an error on her. Jumbos will get that point.
And it looked almost as if she thought she was the only person who could get to that. She didn't realize that she had a teammate running behind her. So she did everything she could rather than weaving it back. And there's a serve into the net for Jumbo's Heather Holtz.
Yeah, she wound up trying to hit it with her palm more than her fingertips there. That's not a recipe for success in volleyball. Here's Sierra Norris. Nori, excuse me. Farash on the set. Tipped over and out there by the Jumbos. That was Mackenzie Bright on the error. So Nori will get another serve. Morris, similar story to the first set, up 2. Hit up by Bell. Klimo forearm pass. Slammed by Bright. Defended by Reitzma. And the slam there by number 12, Rachel Matthias, is much too hard for the Jumbos to deal with, and it'll go way out of bounds. Nori serving yet again. Hit up by Bright. Bright there tapping it over, but Nori gets to it. And that's Becca Morris. She tries, but it's just not far enough. Little word of frustration.
She saw that Jumbo's block coming up, and she tried to do a little finesse tap, but didn't quite get it over the net. She knew she missed it.
You could see it on her face. She turned in our direction, and it was not a look of happiness, to say the least. Here's Angela Yu serving now. Reitzma. Nice block by the Jumbos. And here's Morris. And a tip off of Wongpa will get it to go for Morris. Atoning for her previous error, and now she gets to do some further atoning and penance at the service line.
And there we saw a nice block by the Jumbos, followed by a miss. And now a service through the back, and that'll be a point for the Jumbos, keeping it close as we head towards the end of the second set.
And remember, last time we went into a timeout at 21-21, so we're approaching that point again.
And we have Garrett back in to serve for the Jumbos.
And that'll be a Jumbo's point there. I think it was probably a touch violation there by the Cougars. And that's just a product of Garrett's great serve. A service ace for her there. And we go into timeout, 19-20. Minnesota Morris Cougars up right there. It's the beauty of the New England Invitational, isn't it, that we have the Minnesota Morris Cougars in town. Because if you'd be surprised to know, Freddie, that Minnesota doesn't often come over here to Massachusetts. And same for Marymount Saints from Virginia, who we're going to see later today.
We do have a couple teams that made the trek over here to the Northeast. And then a couple local teams who also participated with the Bowdoin team here. and I believe Brandeis is also participating.
Yeah, it's sort of an awkward tournament in that, one, there's no winner, and two, they don't actually only play in one place. They're playing all around the Boston area this weekend. There were some games UMass Boston yesterday. That was where the Cougars were last night. And there are some games today out in Brandeis, the judges' home court. Garrett on the serve there, Wrightsma deals with it. Up by Herman, down by Agnes, and that looks like line. And line is in as of like around 2000, so point for the Cougars. My volleyball history of the day.
Thank you for that tidbit, and the Cougars taking advantage of that.
Wrightsma with a short serve, but it works. And Miller is blocked there by the Jumbos, and the Jumbos will get the point. It's a big one there, 20-21.
Nice block there, getting the serve back and sending it over to libero Kelly Climo.
Climo on the serve. It's over. Defended by Nori. Agnes on the slam. Dig by Yu. There's Crone, blocked nicely by Miller. She'll get another attempt now. Miller can't get the block, but she doesn't need to because it's out of bounds. And the Cougars are back up by 2. Lane Herman to the service line as Nori comes out to be replaced by number 22. Herman, player of the day probably for this team so far. 7 kills, 10 digs. A nice serve there. There's Yu to Bell. Bell blocked by Miller, and Climo can't get a hand on it. And it'll go to 23 points for the Cougars trying to get back to a tie game here down 1 set.
Cougars starting to pick up some momentum. Their bench is looking excited. They can smell the potential set in the air as they take a timeout.
And you have to be happy now if you're Lauren Torvey, the coach of the Minnesota Morris Cougars. She's in her 2nd year here. She helped continue the Minnesota Morris tradition of winning seasons, now at 7. They scraped through last year barely with a 16-15 record. However, they, even though it may not have been stellar, they still reached the UMAC, the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference Championship game. It's the 4th straight time that they've done that. So pretty pedigreed set of seasons from the team from the University of Minnesota State System.
And that's probably what got them their invitation over here to play on the East Coast and in our tournament over here.
Yeah, the Jumbos don't invite just anyone to play. Lane Herman, serve. Garrett, awkward. Return there, gets to Bell. Bell flashing a little of the soccer skills and frustration there. She spikes it into the net and kicks it into the net. And it's set point for the Cougars. Serving for set is Herman. Bell, forearm pass. Slam down by Holtz. Wrightsma hits it back a little. And there's Eknes. Easily dealt with by Garrett. And Cron. Really nice dig by Morris there. And Eknes will get it to go for the set. Jumps for joy from the Cougars as they take the 2nd set in this match. And it's a tie game as the players switch sides again. And wow, do we have ourselves a Sunday afternoon appetizer here.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday, correct.
Jumping ahead a little bit, but we do see the Jumbos starting to get a little more frustrated and seeing some of the mistakes that we saw in the first set coming back. The blocking errors, blocks slipping through and ending up down on the floor. And it was interesting because they came out at the start of the set playing very well and much cleaner than we saw them in the first. And as it got into the end of the set and the Cougars took that little lead, they could not hold it together and lost the last few points.
And you have to say, that's a demoralizing end to the set for the Jumbos there. You could see the frustration was palpable at the end of it as they lost something like 5 of 7 points there to end that set.
Definitely. And the Cougars seem to have hit their groove and got some momentum at the end there with those winning points. Yes, there were some mistakes on the Jumbo side, but they were not without cause. The Cougars continuing to be aggressive and getting those spikes through the blocks.
And so we're going to go into the 3rd set and at least a 4th set now, which makes it officially an interesting game. As soon as this timeout is done, do you think that the momentum is definitely with the Cougars right now?
At the end of that set, it was definitely there, but we'll see if they can hold it going into the new set now with the extended break. If the Jumbos can come back with some fire and win a couple early points, they could definitely stop that and turn the tables the other way. But we'll see how they come out. If they can't come out with a new renewed sense of strength here, then they might fall into that frustration again.
It has been very balanced, however. That's a testament to the fact that it's 1-1 in terms of sets, but also we've been going down to the wire in both of these sets here.
Definitely. Both teams getting into the 20s in both sets shows that there's been no breakaways or extended leads at all this game. That 5-point lead to end the set might have been the biggest in the set, which is an impressive feat by both teams.
And the Jumbos, who are ranked number 23 in the nation, hoping to avoid an early season upset here in only their third game, especially on their home court as well. Wouldn't be a good look for them when rankings come around next week. They've already dipped, actually. They started the season, preseason at number 19, but because they only played their first game on Wednesday, they fell because they were idle while everyone else was playing. So they've got a little ground to catch up. That's why the Cougars are 5-2 as well. They've had the opportunity to play 7 games. And we're about ready to get underway here with this third set.
And we can see on the Jumbo side, Andrew Yu getting a couple extra words of advice from the coach, Cora Thompson.
Matthias replaced by Lara Reitzma for the Cougars. Meanwhile, number 16, Maddie Stewart, coming off to be replaced by, number 13, Heather Holtz, being replaced by the libero, Klimo. Defensive specialists on either side. Into the game. We're ready to start, and it'll be Jumbo's serve with Angela Yu.
Jumbo's number 6, Angela Yu.
Deep serve. And an interesting attempted spike by Miller. Looked like it got blocked by the Jumbos there, and a nice start for the Tufts team.
And if they continue this and start off strong, and that'll be the end of the Cougars' momentum from the end of the last set.
And that momentum that the Jumbos were building seems to have gone away there, as Yu
very quickly
overhits that serve quite badly. Elaine Herman now gets her chance to one-up Yu. There's Yu again. Nice block there. Looks like a net infraction for the Jumbos, and it'll be a point for the Cougars. And as it seems, both sets before have gone, Cougars are taking an early small lead. Klimo there with the dig on that return. Down by Kron, and the block went off of the hands of the Cougars and to the left rather than straight ahead.
And that's the sort of play that the Cougars were doing in the first set, where they would deflect it off a block. And the Jumbos are taking a play out of their book.
Here's Jumbo's captain, Alex Garrett. Low serve off the net. Herman sets it up for Eknes to slam it down. Great kill for her. And she'll go to the service line now.
And that one bounced right between you and Garrett. Both of them watched it. Neither could have made a play, but neither committed either. Not sure if that was a communication error or just that they knew.
Eknes' serve. Garrett gets it. Yu on the set for Krohn. And Herman tries to defend it, but it goes out of bounds.
And here's Krohn showing why she's a freshman who's been starting and playing a lot. She's getting those kills in with those hard hits. Cougars defense can't really deal with it.
Klimo serving. Awkward recovery there by number 16. Klimo hits it up. There's Garrett. Turned by Eknes. Nice dig there by Klimo on Miller's spike. And Bell taps it over. A little competition at the net there. And it'll bounce. Not sure where it would fall, but it ended up falling on the Cougar side, so a Jumbo's point.
And there you could see the ball was up in the air and neither team was sure which side it would come down on, so both sides of blockers went up, but no one hit it, so it just fell back down on the Cougars
second
side.
serve. Reitzma gets it. Agnes on the attempted slam. Klima hits it up. Crown hits it down. Blocked by Miller. Reitzma. Herman sets it for Agnes. And Garrett gets the dig. There's Bell. Nice block by Morgan Miller for the Cougars. She's been a real good, steady presence at that net. The sophomore from Twin Valley, Minnesota. And her 6'1" frame surely helps with that.
Definitely, the Cougars more than made up for that one missed block with multiple in that point alone.
Here's Godzla, the service specialist for the Cougars. Blocked by his crone by number 12, Rachel Matthias. So another 6'1" Cougar goes to the net, and another block gets them a point. Here's Godzla's second serve. Yu just taps that over. Really nice misdirection there. Thought she was going for a set, as she usually does, but she just hits it right in between the two lines of Cougars. A few substitutes now. Yu coming out of the game, Crone coming out of the game. In comes Farash and Stewart.
Smart play there by Yu. Cougars had gotten a few points off of blocks, so she didn't give them a third chance.
Meanwhile, Godzilla and Miller coming out of the game for the Cougars. Up by Herman. Agnes with a soft hit, dealt with by Bell. There's Bell again. A block hits the top of the net. Nice tap by Holtz over. There's Klimo. And that's Maddie Stewart there. Hits the hands of the players at the net for the Cougars, but they only misdirected out of the arms of their teammates. So it'll be another serve here for Farash. And that'll get in. Nice point there for the Cougars. That was Becca Morris on the finish.
And Garrett, the only player in the backcourt there who could have gotten to it. Looks like she misjudged it and didn't really have a play on it anyway.
Nori coming in for number 22 to serve. Here's her serve now. And that'll sail out of bounds. Jumbo's point, Jumbo's serve. And it'll be Bridget Bell's turn now.
We see Alex Garrett coming off the court to be replaced by number 9, Mackenzie Bright.
Mackenzie Bright was the MVP of the Division III regional that was held here last year, which the Jumbos won for the first time since 2009. Kept in nicely by Herman there, but Nori had a really hard task set out for her and couldn't quite get it over. And by couldn't quite get it over, I mean it went backwards.
Definitely, and you could see all of the effort they're putting into it, but just was not to be.
Bell's second serve. And that'll go out. That was Matthias. Attempted a slam, but didn't make it inbounds. And Bell will try and go 3 for 3 here as the Jumbos have taken a 3-point lead in this set, 9-6. That looks long, and it is long from Bell. So 2 nice serves for her and 1 a little far.
Number 16, Becca Morris.
And service goes back to the Cougars.
Becca Morris now. Bell digs. Set up, but Mackenzie Bright slams it into the net. So another serve for Becca Morris. If you're wondering how Becca is spelled, in this case, it's B-E-K-A-H. It's that spelling of Rebecca. I'm here for the public service announcements too, but Freddie.
And Klima with a nice dig there, but could not be dealt with.
Yeah, a little,
as it deflected
little
to the
awkwardness
side.
from Mackenzie Bright. And it's back to 9-9, quick as you like. Amar serving now to give the Cougars another lead in this set. Dug by Klima on her knees. And not sure what Holtz was trying to do there. Seemed to be caught in 2 minds. And the ball got caught in the net.
There seemed to be, she thought the ball was going to be higher for a quick spike, but Farash did not hit it quite as high as she wanted. Not sure whose mistake that was, but a little bit of a miscommunication.
Farash sets up for Bright. Really nice play there by Klimo on the dig. And there's Bright again. That's a little better from her. Herman hits it over and slammed down by Agnes off the arms of Maddie Stewart. And that'll be another Cougars point. So a really nice run for Morris here at the service line. And just like that, it's 11-9. So a 5-0 run here for the Cougars.
And Jumbo's cleaning up the court a little bit to give their coach a chance to say some words of advice.
Decent crowd for a Saturday afternoon game here in Medford. Bowdoin team who played earlier at the 10 a.m. start are watching. It's up by Forosh. And that battle there between Matthias and Heather Holtz is won by Holtz.
And well done there, being present of mind with the blocking, but continuing to fight and make sure the ball came down on the Cougar side.
And here's Holtz to serve. That was Eknes, and it looks like a net infraction for the Jumbos. Oh, excuse me, a net infraction for the Cougars. Eknes hit the net with her hand on the follow-through, and the Jumbos will take that any day.
Definitely, those blockers were there, but not quite going to get the point, and they got her off the net instead.
Holtz's second serve. Herman sets. There's Holtz on the recovery. Tipped over by Bright. Defended by the Cougars, but looks like it's going to be Jumbo's point. I think that was a double touch.
And we see that the Cougars are back to giving up a couple easy points as they did in the first set, and now Jumbos have a 1-point lead again, looking to make it 2.
Another Holtz serve, and an Eknes mash. Nice defending there by Bridget Bell, but she can't quite get it into the forearms of a teammate. Holtz going to come out, replaced by Klimo. Reitzma is now up to serve. It's up to the net. Frosch on the nice set, blocked by Miller, and it's going to be Cougars' point anyway. Looked like an infraction somewhere.
It looks like Wongpa was looking for a hard hit there, but the ball was just too close to the net, maybe even slightly on the Cougar side. She was unable to make a play on it.
Reitzma's next serve. It's up in the air from Bright. Bright will get another chance, tips it over into space, and she'll get the point to go. Nice kill from Mackenzie Bright.
The Cougars' defense seems to be much better at getting everywhere on the court than they are dealing with power. And a lot of the Jumbo's offense has been finesse shots trying to find open space, and there they were able to break through the Cougars' defense.
Yu is subbed into the game, and just in time for her to serve it a little far. Not an auspicious beginning, but she'll get a chance to make up for that. Crone has also come into the game for the Jumbos, who brought off Stewart and Furosh. Lane Herman is now serving. So Yu to Nwangpa, and that'll drop in a really nice play there by the sophomore.
And again, another finesse shot finding the floor. The Cougars have been really good about covering the whole court in the first 2 sets and earlier in this one. And it seems the Jumbos may have figured out their pattern and gotten through, or got a couple lucky hits in a row.
Here's Garrett now. Reitzma digs. And the slam by Agnes. Klimo can't get to it after it took a deflection off of Bell and Wongpa. 15-14 Cougars as this set continues the trend of being extremely close. Served by Agnes. Garrett, Yu, and Klimo gets it over. Reitzma set from Herman, tipped over by Miller, and might have been no deflection there because Yu was diving for it and was nowhere near it as it dropped into space. Agnes will get her second serve now. Garrett, forearm passes it up in the air. Yu takes over from Klimo, but Klimo will get her chance in time. Herman sets, signed by number 22, defended by Yu. And there's Bell. Nice block by Miller. Bell gets again. That'll just fall to Matthias. And that'll be out of bounds. Looked like it could have gotten a little bit of line, but the linesman said no. And the Jumbos get a point. Here's Holtz. She's in for Wongpa.
great job by the Tufts front line there, especially Bridget Bell, hitting into a block and recovering enough to keep the ball in play.
Klimo's serve. That was Miller on the slam. Well dealt with by Garrett. And here's Garrett again. Reitzma. Morris catches Yu's forearm. Really in an awkward position. Didn't know if she was trying to get that. Maybe just flailing at it. But anyway, Cougars point.
It looks like she was surprised to find it there. She was not
Oh, it might have
ready
been
to
an
hit
infraction, actually. Because it seems Jumbo's point there. Excuse me. Herman sets now for Miller. Nice block by Holtz, but she can't get it to go over. That'll be a Cougars point. 16-17 to the Cougars. Godzilla is going to come in for Miller. Meanwhile, Matthias is going to come in for Reitzma. Hannah Gonzala, sophomore from Coon Rapids, is serving. Bell up to you, to Holtz. And Gonzala gets it back. Nice attempt by Morris, but it's blocked. Forehand pass by 22 gets it over. Tapped over by Cron. And that's Agnes on the slam. And Garrett, her opposite number, try as she might, can get that one on the dig. Really great kill for Hannah Agnes, the senior, pretty much undisputed leader on this team.
And great job by Cougars defense overall. We saw the same low set to a spike that we'd seen a couple times earlier this match.
Actually, that seems that might have been another infraction or some sort of double touch because it's Jumbo's serve. So I'm not on the same page as the officials here. Herman sets. And that'll be whistled down. Cougars point. The double touch on the Jumbos.
I think that one hit off of Bell's arms and then also off her body as it was deflecting around.
Good call by the officials here. And Sierra Nori will get her serve. She wants a new ball. Cross players busy socializing, but he gets it to her. Nori now. Serves, Bell digs. Tapped over by Stewart. And there's Morris. Holtz got her hands to it, but it deflected away, and Klimo couldn't get it.
Again, we're seeing a lot of those missed blocks and deflections into open space off of the Jumbo's front line. Could be a dangerous area for the Jumbos now that they're down 2.
Yeah, and the score, the timeout, 19-17 to the Cougars. If you're just joining us, it's 1-1 in sets. Each set has been pretty much like this. The Cougars have been up around 2 points going into the 20-point-ish mark. Jumbos fought back in the first one, didn't quite in the second, and now here we are in the third. But it's been a very balanced and very exciting game with some fairly long rallies and really not a lot of bad play.
Yeah, a lot of good volleyball being played here. Also, in attendance, we've got looks like a Tufts student wearing an elephant costume.
I believe he was here yesterday as well. We have a volleyball superfan
Interesting.
in our midst.
He's not sitting in an area that our camera can reach, so I apologize for telling you about the interesting feature but not letting you see it.
Nori. Garrett error there. Be a nice service ace for Nori. It's a little lucky too as the Cougars pass the 20-point mark. I'm sure your description was detailed enough that everyone knows exactly what it looks like.
On that one, it looked like maybe a miscommunication between Alex Garrett and Kelly Klimo on the Tufts back line, but
Farage sets for Bell. Eknes deals. Herman up. Eknes again. And up. That looked like a pancake, Freddie.
It did look like a successful pancake by the Jumbos.
Set by Herman.
But
and
could not win the point.
Matthias there was just too much for the Jumbos to deal with on defense, but we got a nice little example of a pancake there on that play.
I hope you're all able to see that at home. But here we see Cougars with a 4-point lead starting to pull away at the end of this set. Could spell danger for the Jumbos.
Freshman Jennifer Ryan checking into the game for the first time for the Jumbos. She's a new appearance as Nori hits her serve into the net. Jumbos will take that any day. While Garrett coming off, replaced by Mackenzie Bright. It's Bridget Bell's turn to serve. A worthy member of the JumboCast community as well as the volleyball community. Catcher in the winter and spring with us. Catcher on the court right now. That serve that's dealt with by Reitzma. Eknes, too far.
And Bell will get another chance as the Jumbos start to close up the gap. 2-point deficit now.
Bell with a ringing serve there that Reitzma has some trouble dealing with. And on the second attempt, the second Cougars player can't deal with it either. And the Jumbos, right back like that, are only down 1 as we take a timeout here.
And we've seen this timeout happen in each set. First was at 21-21, second...
I believe it was also 20-21.
Exactly, and here we are at 20-21. Seems like this is the point where the coaches start thinking about end game strategies if they can get a couple quick points in and end the set.
And what you want to see if you're Cora Thompson now is something different than what happened last set when there was a 5 or 6-0 run by the Cougars. So the Jumbos trying to treat this one a little differently. Bell's still on the serve. See if that minute 15 will disrupt their momentum at all. It's like we see if they can clear this scoreboard quicker. Yeah, they can. Progress. It's time for the progress that's displayed by the scoreboard up to be displayed by the Jumbos after blowing the set last time at this point. And it almost looks like an ace, if not for a really nice play by Reitzma there. Furash sets up. Ryan can't get it to go for a kill there. Dealt with by Bell. Furash to Ryan again. And Ryan does it too hard for Eknes to defend. Jumbos tied at 21-21. And a little sense of deja vu here, Freddie.
Yeah, great play by the Jumbos. Hard serve left the Cougars off balance from the start, and then another one of those low sets to a quick spike to put it away.
Bridget Bell. She's having a great time out here. Reitzma, Herman sets. Nice block by the Jumbos. There's Herman again. Morris, Furash up, and it's tipped over. Bright almost got it to go there. And Furash, a little deceptive set. Turned shot. Klimo up. Furash again, and Bright. And it will get a mix-up between the outstretched arms of Eknes and Reitzma, and the Jumbos have the lead.
And you can see the crowds getting into it here, coming back from that 4-point deficit, now leading by 1. Confusion on the Cougars side with players bumping into each other, trying to get digs. That last point was gotten when it bounced off of multiple players.
Nice dig there by Klimo. There's Bell on the slam. Reitzma with the forearms. Nice by Furash to hit that up in the air. Klimo sets it up for Bright. Nori deals with it easily. It's tipped over, and no Jumbo's going to get that. And that'll end the reign of success by Bridget Bell. Jumbos might not be too happy about that, but it did get them up to a point where this set is now 22-22, and it falls to Becca Morris on the service end for the Cougars.
And that might have been one of our longest service runs of the day. Neither team has had more than a 4 or 5 point lead, and there she went on a 5-point run.
Eknes, and Eknes gets it to go. Bell dives, but can't quite get there. Looks like some pizza has just arrived, but the excitement is on the court rather than all in the box. It's one of the stranger calls that I'll ever do, I think. So a timeout taken now, 22 to the Jumbos, 23 to the Cougars.
Definitely an intense point in this game because this set puts someone to 2 and the other team still at 1, puts them in a position where they could be winning. And if the fourth set is as close as this one, that could turn into a match point as opposed to just a set point.
Yeah, these next 2 to 3 points are going to be really, really big in the way that this game goes. Tufts back out. Corey Thompson giving a last word to Maddie Stewart. And here come the Cougars. It's going to be Becca Morris still serving. It's her second. See if she can harness a little bit of Bridget Bell's power on the other side of the court. She gets the ball tossed to her. And here we go. Jumbo's back three ready to return. With the back three, it's the rightmost. That's Bell. That's up for Bright. Bright can't get to it. That's an error for the Jumbos at a crucial moment, and it's set point for the Cougars.
And that pass was just too close to the net. Bright looked like she was going to go for it and couldn't get close enough to the ball without hitting the net and just shied away at the end.
Set point. Furrosh to Bright. And Herman is recovering after the block. There's Eknes. Bell deals with it there. Stewart gets it down. Herman up for Eknes. Nice block by the Jumbos. There's Herman again. Same combo. And a nice play there by the Jumbos, but the attempt by number 9, Mackenzie Bright, just a little wayward and goes out of bounds. And just like that, it's 2-1 Cougars as the unranked team is on the cusp of an upset. One more set will do it.
And we saw this at the end of last set as well. The Cougars ended it with some fire and a lot of momentum. And going into this set, they weren't able to continue that. And it started off very close as it had been. But seeing this fire again could mean some danger for the Jumbos if the Cougars keep it up into an early lead. The Jumbos came back strong into this set, but we'll see if they can do it again. A little bit more tired, a little bit later in the game.
And the Jumbos have time and again just not put themselves in a comfortable position, you have to say, Freddie. They've been running these sets always 2 or 3 points behind, and it doesn't give you a lot of room for error.
Definitely. They haven't been able to get a lead. It's been mostly Cougars pull ahead by 2 or 3, and then Jumbos bring it back to a tie, but they haven't been able to get or hold a lead at any point, more than 1 or 2 points. And while that's okay for the first half of a set, you really need to see them pull ahead if they expect to win this one and the next one.
And they were able to do that in the first set, but the last two have been all Cougars once we got to the final stretch and the Jumbos tied it up. Because ideally you want that Bridget Bell run to be the thing that clinches it for you. You don't want that to be the thing that's going to get you to a tie game.
Definitely, definitely.
So we're going to go into the fourth set here. And the Jumbos are on the verge of an upset. The upset isn't at their hands. It's being given to them by the hands of the Minnesota Morris Cougars.
And we see in the Jumbos huddle during this set break, there was a pep talk given by the captain of the team, Alex Garrett. And now it looks like they're having a second round with the coach, maybe talking more strategy. And the Cougars look like they're just wrapping up. They had a little cheer, and now they're milling about trying to get back on the court.
And it's not that they've played badly, the Jumbos. It's just that the Cougars, you have to say, have been better.
Definitely. We've seen some small errors on both sides. I think the Cougars have had more of those errors as far as double touches and net infractions, but that has not been enough to counter their aggressive offense and really great blocks.
Little huddle up by the Cougars here on the court. Jumbos are going to perhaps give it one last scobos before the set starts. And they're going to walk out onto the court now. Looks like your pachyderm pajama-toting friend is left, Freddie.
It does seem that way. I saw him walking out at the end of that set, maybe.
Perhaps a little bit of disgust at the Jumbo's less than stellar performance here. So we're going to get this underway with a service by Katie Reitzma.
Before that happens, we'll see Quimo come back on as the libero.
Yep, she'll replace Jennifer Ryan, who we saw a bit at the end of that set for her first action of the game. Some promising spikes, but no actual kills. And Reitzma receives the ball. And we're going to get underway.
Number 15, Katie Reitzma.
Set 4, Jumbo's on the brink of an upset. Bell overhead, and she's going to slam it down. A nice block there. That's Miller for the Cougars.
And you saw the Jumbos came out with some fire. They were ready to go there, set that up, and right into a block. That can't be a good feeling to start off this set.
And you may be not very surprised to hear that Morgan Miller, who just made that block, led this team with 64 blocks last season. Sierra Nori can't deal with that spike by the Jumbos. We'll have a 1-1 set right now. She was also second in kills with 268, the Native American Studies major from Twin Valley, Minnesota.
Now we see Jennifer Ryan coming back on for the Jumbos, taking out Klimo.
And perhaps showing why we haven't really seen her serve before, and Wongpa sails that one pretty far into the 2-point territory on the basketball court. Wayne Herman now. Dealt with by Garrett. Bell on the spike, out of bounds. Excuse me, inbounds.
Might have just caught the line there. From my angle, it looks like it was close. And we've seen that's the second time they've gone to Bell very early. She's definitely one of the heavier hitters, looking to generate some power, some excitement for the Jumbo side.
Rachel Furash now. Excuse me for my yawn. Reitzma. Herman up. And slammed down by Agnes, but a nice block by the Jumbos. That was Jennifer Ryan and Bridget Bell combining.
Very well done there. They managed to get it down into the net with no space for the Cougars to dive forward for it.
Furash on the serve. Reitzma falling over, gets that forearm to work. 22 with the spike. Defended by Klimo. Bell now. And really nice placement from Bridget Bell there to get a point and a kill.
Bell really showing herself at the end of last set and the start of this one. She's carrying the team a little bit with her service, and now a block and a hit here.
Also leading the Jumbos on the court now in kills with 8. There's Morgan Miller, and she'll get a kill there. Blocked by Ryan, and it went astray.
Up to serve for the Cougars, number 5.
Miller and Agnes with 11 and 15 kills respectively. Far and away the most dangerous players on this court. Furash up. And looks like the Jumbos thought it took a deflection, and it did. Maddie Stewart's spike sails all the way back, but off the hands of a Cougar.
It did seem like it went pretty far out for it to have not been deflected, but the Cougars also thought there was no deflection.
But referee gets the final word, and she thought otherwise. So here's Bridget Bell trying to build on what she did last set. The sustained run of success. It's put up by Morris. Agnes now. And Bell had a nice serve, but not so nice forearm pass there as it goes mightily astray. And Cougars will serve. Godsla has come in to replace Miller, the standard substitution. You bring out your offensive stud for a service expert. Here's Godsla now. There's the serve. Klimo pretty easily deals with it. Furash puts it up for Bright. 22 up for Morris. There's Bright again. And a little tip. Nice diving play by Furash. Mackenzie Bright gets another chance, and that time she makes an error and hits it into the net. 5-5 right now.
And there you saw with Bright up at the front in the position where Bell had been a second ago, not able to generate the same power.
Godzilla again. Excuse me.
Instead, she was going for those finesse shots, but could not quite hit them.
And Bright will get that one out of bounds as well. Looked pretty good. Almost hit line, but just a little too far.
Again, we see her going for the finesse shot where Bell might have gone for power and just not quite hitting her spot.
A few errors early for the Jumbos. Godzilla's third serve, dealt with by Bell. Up Bright. 22 up for Matthias. 22 with a spike herself, and that didn't take a deflection. That's just going to go far out of bounds. We're going to see Miller re-enter this game for Godzilla now that she's done serving, and Reitzma is going to come in for Miller immediately. So really a Godzilla from Miller switch.
And this set, like the first three, we see it opening with a very close tie, 6-6, as Klimo's serve is put up.
Morris had some trouble with it, but she'll get back to get it over there. Long pass. Reitzma can't get to it. Pretty lucky with the let there, coming off of the net. But works for the Jumbos, and they take a 1-point advantage, 7-6.
As you said, there's a lot of luck there. It hit off the top of the net, and it delayed the ball enough to mess up the timing of the Cougars going for
And
breaks.
that's a service ace there for Kelly Klimo, showing that she can have some offense from the service line, if she can't technically have any from the front, with an ace.
And here we see Jumbos with a 2-point lead and the service.
Morris hits it up. Nice block there by the Cougars. That was Stewart there, doing her best to avoid the net and succeeding. Klimo can't get to it there. And it's going to be Cougars' point.
And again, we've seen with Bright was up at the net, she was going for finesse shots. And we also see the Jumbos front line less powerful and more finesse.
Nori serves to Bell. Slam by Stewart, and that's going to be a Jumbo's point.
Tipping off a finger and going just far of the line, but having hit a Cougar, it's still a Jumbo's point. Holding it as an 8-8 tie.
Yu is going to come in.
Or 9-7 rather, scoreboard switched.
Yu is going to come in, and Crone is also going to come in with the substitution routine that reminds me a bit of some Renaissance dance. And here comes Angela Yu to serve. Having entered the game. Had some wayward serves recently, but this one isn't one of them. Block off Wongpa is dealt with well by Crone, but she's a little annoyed with herself there as she didn't direct it as she would have liked.
Now serving for the Cougars.
Looked like she might have fallen or gotten stunned a little bit as on that play she was slow to get up, and she'll come off the court now.
Mix of injury and disappointment. And the substitution is made now. So we're going to see Rachel Furash come back on. First, we got to wait a sec for Alexander Garrett to tie her shoe. Excuse me, Angela Yu to tie her shoe. She does.
And here's the serve.
Morris. And it's long. Taps her chest a bit to perhaps say mea culpa. My bad.
And here is Alex Garrett, Jumbo's service specialist.
She comes. There's Morris on the return, and Garrett can't quite get it done defensively. Cougars claw one back, 10-9. Miller coming back in. She'll replace Matthias. Reitzma with the serve. Bell with the return. Wongpa dug out by Nori. Eknes with the spike. Farash looked like she misjudged that a bit, but it still fell in on her kill. So that'll be a point for the Jumbos. Nicely done.
Well done there, adjusting midair, leaning back more than she had intended. And also, well done finding the open spot in the Cougars' defense.
Wongpa on the serve, better than her last one, which sailed out. And there's Miller, blocked nicely by Ryan. Eknes. Yu. Morris digs out Bells. Eknes blocked again by Ryan. And there's Rachel Farash, and she's going to get herself another kill there. A nice spell of play from the sophomore.
And well done there, finding a spot on the back line that Morris had to dive for and could not control.
Farash was second on the team in assists last year with 307, but showing a bit more offensive capabilities here with kills. And there's Morris. Eknes now taps it over, but Yu covers it fairly easily. Bridget Bell, nice placement, but Eknes is there. And the infrastructure there got in the way for Furash. She probably could have ranged over if the net post and the other side of the court weren't there.
And there we saw a nice little run for the Jumbos on Wongpa's serve. She's not known for the serving, but she was able to get it in, and the team got a few points.
Herman, and that'll be an ace for her as Bell can't return it.
And there, a nice serve by Herman. and they'll go for a timeout. Tufts leading 12-11, still very close, but we're seeing the Jumbos with their blocks coming together a lot more now, and with a little bit of cleaner play than we've seen, and they're hoping to pull ahead here and take this set and tie it up 2-2. But
we were talking about the importance of having like a lead for the Jumbos early on, and that's what they've done. It's only 1 point right now, but you have to say it's an improvement on being 2 points behind.
Definitely, whereas the other sets it seemed like the Cougars would be 2 or 3 ahead and the Jumbos would come up to tie. Here the Jumbos have been 2 or 3 ahead and the Cougars have come back almost to tie here, but it's definitely a more comfortable position where they're fighting for the lead instead of fighting to catch up.
Here's Herman.
Jumbos with a very defensive lineup out there, with 4 of their 6 players having 10 digs.
It's long, but Garrett deals. And Furash, but a great block there from Eknes and Miller. That'll be a point for the Cougars, and we have a tie. So that lead we were talking about, which was minuscule, is now non-existent. Service. Awkwardly dealt with by Garrett, but the Jumbos persevere. And a nice tip over there by Miller.
Klimo dove for that one, but could not get close. And here we have Herman with another serve.
Bell. There she is again. And she does what just happened on the other side of the court, just tipping it over into empty space and getting a point.
And uncharacteristic of her previous hits where she's gone for power to overwhelm the dig. There she got a nice finesse shot.
Here's Furash. Miller. Nice from Bridget Bell there to dig that out. Reitzma. And Eknes, that'll get all up in a mess around the net, and it'll be a Jumbo's point. So Furash, number 2, will take her second serve.
And here Jumbos with a 1-point lead again.
And an ace there for Furash. Eknes couldn't deal with it, and it just drops in the middle of a few teammates. So Furash will get her third serve. And a reminder, if you're just joining us, we're playing to 3 sets, so if the Jumbos lose this one, they lose the match. And we'll take another timeout.
And going into the huddle for this timeout, we see Jordan Crone hopping a little bit and hobbling, so it looks like she might have actually been injured on that play earlier. She is still in the huddle, but I don't think we'll see her in this game, and also maybe not in the later one today.
But it seems like Jennifer Ryan has sort of slid in a replacement capability pretty well, the freshman.
Definitely. We haven't seen a significant change in the play of the Jumbos when she had to come out. They're still playing well, and as we said, now they're the ones with the 2 or 3 point lead as opposed to the Cougars. Right now it's a 2-point lead as Furash gets ready to serve and end this timeout. Looks like Kelly Klimo just cracked her back on the court there, loosen up a little for the next dives.
It's fun to watch, less fun to hear. Furash will serve again. Having a sustained run here, trying to keep that up after the interruption. Dug by Eknes. Number 22 will get it to go, and a point to the unknown player from Minnesota. Eknes now goes to the service line. She's got 16 kills so far and 13 digs, so a pretty good game for her. And that's Alexandra Garrett with the kill.
Well done there. Jumbo's changing up the play a little. Instead of setting right up to the net, set back to Garrett, who plays from the back line, and she was able to power it off of a block and out of play for
a rocket
point.
Reminiscent of her serves. And now it's Bridget Bell. Tapped over by Miller into space. going to be got Miller's last contribution for a bit because she's up to serve, which means here is Hannah Godzilla.
Number 1, Hannah Godzilla.
Serve from her is dug by Klimo. And no deflection there, just a wayward effort from Jennifer Ryan.
And we'll see a second serve from Godzilla.
Mackenzie Bright. Morris deals. Oh, almost got the face of Klimo there. Did a really good job getting to it. And a really good job getting to it there was Lane Herman. And Bridget Bell is going to keep this one in play. Klimo's just going to forearm pass it over. And a nice dig again from Klimo. And taking advantage of the net there are the Cougars to get a point. And they're up 1. So we're getting to that time of the set again. Freddie closing in on 20, and the Cougars have a slim lead.
Definitely, and you can see their bench and coaching staff getting very excited about this, especially that last point.
Zala with another serve. There's Mackenzie Bright. Nice dig by Eknes. Bell. Eknes diving. Another dig. And a beautiful block by the Jumbos. That's the team of Ryan and Stewart, 15 and 16. And that'll be 1 point. And a tie game. Gonzala done with her service is going to be replaced by Miller. Again, replaced by Reitzma. Saw that a little earlier.
Now we have Klimo back to serve for the Jumbos.
Herman sets it up for Morris. Klimo deals with it easily. Nice block there by Matthias. And we got our third pancake of the day there by Reitzma. Last-ditch effort, but she couldn't actually get that last-ditch effort to amount to anything. So the pancake is all for naught here as Tufts goes up 18-17.
And on that one, it almost looks like number 22 and Reitzman were both going for that ball. She might have been able to do more with it, but fear of collision.
And that's a kill by Matthias there. A great kill, a great spike, excuse me. No jumbo even got a hand to.
And we're back tied at 18.
Same as it ever was. Sierra Nori at the service line now. Jumbo's going with 2 back to return this one. We changed from previous. Little tiki-taka at the net there between Bright and Matthias. And the Jumbos wind up with a point. He's going to come in now to replace Stewart.
Nice awareness there to keep it up with those small hits.
Serving for the Jumbos, we have number 6, Angela Yu.
Angela Yu's serve. Nori gets it. It's Matthias. And that's another kill for her. And it's back and forth here between the Jumbos and the Cougars.
And Matthias with it, again with that, finding a nice spot and a hard hit. The Jumbos couldn't even try for it.
It's her 14th kill so far this game. Bright. We heard a whistle there. That's an infraction against the Cougars. Jumbo's point. Garrett's going to come in to serve here for Bright.
Serving for the Jumbos, number 5.
If you look at the stats on court here, on the big board, really high number of kills for the Cougars, Freddie.
Yeah, definitely. Well, they've had that aggressive offensive style that lends itself to
And
lots
it's
of
another
kills.
one for Matthias. Sorry to jump over you, but
Now the excitement is
I'm
worth
excited
it.
about this hat trick of kills for Matthias. So she clearly needs a break because she's just come out.
But yeah, their offensive aggression lends itself to lots of kills. And they've really shown that they've been successful at it.
And there's one for Wongpa there, off the arms of Miller.
And the Jumbos haven't been able to match that aggression with a couple exceptions, but mostly they've gone for finesse. But the Cougars have done a great job of covering the court and not letting the Jumbos find open space as Nwangpa goes for a serve.
Little misguided dig from Morris. She'll hit it over. There's Furash blocked by Miller. Garrett hits it up for Bell. Another block, and Bridget gets it to go over to the other side, but a little under the net, so it won't count.
Great effort to try and stay with it, but there wasn't much she could do but get hands to the ball, and we're back at tied 21-21, right about when we should be expecting a timeout.
And it's an ace for Herman, so the Cougars will take the lead here, 3 points away from taking an upset of the Jumbos on Tufts home court, and we'll go to a timeout.
And here you have to be thinking that the Jumbos need points here and they need to break up this momentum. The Cougars are getting excited. They're feeling the fire because they know they're close and they're got that momentum. They've got an ace just now. It's very exciting and a lot going on and lots of trouble for the Jumbos.
The Cougars here just need to do what they've been doing, which is the last 2 sets we've been in this position and we've seen the Cougars come out and just play better over the last 3-4 points. And if they do that again now, they won't have to play anymore.
Definitely, yeah.
And they'd probably appreciate that because they're scheduled to play again in 10 minutes. Playing Bowdoin at 2. So they're going to see if they can make this a 4-set game. Jumbos want to take it to a 5th. Wayne Herman will speak to what she wants now. Here she goes. It's her second serve. She got an ace last time. Not going to be an ace this time, though. And it's out of bounds there.
Jumbo's calling for a tip, but the officials have said there wasn't one.
And that'll hurt. That's a demoralizer there. And here's Herman for her third one. Third serve. Bell. Yu. Furash. Number 22. Oh, and a miraculous job by Angela Yu to keep that one in.
Impressive effort. Keeping it alive there, pushing the ball back over the net. A block there.
This is a passionate rally by the Jumbos, and they're going to get the point. A beautiful rally by the Jumbos, and they're back within one in a do-or-die moment. And big testaments to, you have to say, the ball boy for getting out of the way.
Definitely. He was scrambling to pull the chair out of the way, and they got the ball back in play. Bell to end it there with a nice hit down the line. Intense play, and the crowd is really getting into this.
Herman sets. Agnes can't get it to go. Klimo! No.
Furash there was able to get to the ball but couldn't put any force on it, so Klimo could not dive in front and pick it up. And now match point.
Agnes beat Cancer over the summer. Now she's trying to beat the Jumbos with match point. Klimo hits it up. Furash. Bell. And the Jumbos pull within one.
Now, if the Jumbos score this one, we will continue on for more points. So this point is essential to continue the game.
It's Bridget Bell. She's leading the team with kills up there in digs. She does it all, and she can serve too. And the spike goes into the net from Agnes, and we're going to play more than just 25. 24-24 in the 4th set, and we have a great match of volleyball.
And this is a similar position as last set when Bell really rallied at the end of the set and carried the team. We'll see if she can do another sustained run from the service line.
Agnes. Herman. Miller blocked! And it somehow stayed in the hands of the Cougars, but they couldn't get it over. That 4 touches, and it looks like the Jumbos now have fought back for match point to a set point of their own, and it's Bridget Bell at the service line.
Cougars just flailed at that one at the end in desperation.
Oh, and Bridget Bell just got out of rhythm there. You could see it, a little double clutch, and it didn't even hit the net. Just too short, and it's unfortunate. Pressure got to her a bit, and it's Hannah Gonzalez now. It's 25-25. Reminder, as Freddie mentioned just now, got to win by 2. So not match point yet. Awkward by Bell, but it works.
Got the point, making up for that service mistake a second ago. She got the dig there, but couldn't quite control it and ended up going over the net, but the Cougars didn't expect it either, and it found a nice spot of ground in the middle of the court.
Like she misjudged it, but happily as it turned out. And it's another set point for the Jumbos. This time, it's Kelly Klimo, sophomore from North Canton, Ohio. Eknes, Herman. It's Morris, dug by Klimo, tipped over, and that'll be a Jumbo set! And the Jumbos take the fourth set in an exciting fashion, 27-25, and we're going to play 5.
What an incredible effort by the Jumbos. They're fighting back from a deficit going into match point, coming back and winning 27-25. The effort shown by the Jumbos, even through a couple mistakes in the last few points. Incredible.
That's the sort of thing that we've been talking about the whole game that the Jumbos just haven't been able to do, which is play better than the Cougars at the end of sets. And they had a little shakiness in the beginning of that finale, but they really stormed out after. Definitely.
And right there, Bell coming in clutch with those service, and then coming out of that mistake, which has been part of their downfall. The Cougars have been playing really well, and the Jumbos have been playing really well. And it's a lot of those little mistakes that are stopping both teams, and that one almost stopped the Jumbos for the entire match, but they were able to recover with some great play.
And it's not going to be easy to beat a nationally ranked team, especially on their home court, and the Cougars have figured that out. Seemed like they had it 1 point away, but the Jumbos just took it to the next level. And they're going to have to make Bowdoin wait for their match with the Cougars.
And you have to hope that the Cougars will get some sort of break. They've been giving this match their all, and they're expected to play another right after. And that's just a testament that they're going so hard. They're giving 110% in this match, knowing they've got another one right after. It shows well for their team, for their commitment, and for their coaching staff to keep them motivated through all of it.
And Freddie, if this set goes the Jumbo's way and they win this game, you have to say that the turning point is probably going to be that Angela Yu hustle to get out and save that point.
Definitely. Chasing away that ball boy and getting the ball back towards the court. A lot of times we see the balls go crazy and they chase after it, and the best they can do is hit it farther away. But there she was able to get there and get it back to her team. Really impressive effort there.
So the Cougars, for all their effort, still have to face one more set down with the Jumbos. And this one is the big one. Winner takes all, 5th set. We're going to get started just in a second as soon as the Jumbos come out on the court and everyone has their fun little huddle time.
And we'll see coming into this 5th and final set. The past two, the Cougars have come in with fire, with momentum, and here their momentum was just stopped. We'll see if that will affect their play at all. Likewise, the Jumbos have come out of sets feeling a little bit frustrated and down, losing the sets and losing the momentum, but here they're coming back. They came off some really strong play, and if they can open up with that and break open a lead, that could be it. That being said, we have not seen any big leads, and I wouldn't expect to see one now.
Everyone looks pretty ready. I think the athletic staff and the scoring table have taken their slices of pizza for lunch.
And we see on the court a lot of the players you would expect. We see both liberos back on. Alex Garrett back to serve for the Jumbos. Bell and Farash and Wangpa up front for the Jumbos also. They've been doing really well. And then over on the Cougars side, similarly, they've got great players on. Miller up front.
And here's Garrett. A few service aces already, trying to add to her collection. Won't here though. Morris digs. Nice save by Bell there. Farash. Morris miscontrols. Recovered by Eknes. Yu sets. Wongpa tips. Eknes gets it. Herman sets it up for Eknes, tips it over. Nice diving dig by Klimo. And Furash again! Off the hands of Miller and down. Jumbo's up.
She doesn't normally go for power, but right there it was extremely successful. Broke through the block and deflected down to the court.
And Garrett will go for her second serve. And just off the line, Cougars point. 22 replaces Sierra Nori for the Cougars. Looks like they're going to keep Garrett in here even though she's not serving anymore. That's Furash. And that's line. Rachel Furash with the really nice placement there. Cougars can't believe it. And Longpa will come up to serve now for the Jumbos. Morris. There's Eknes. Calling it for Bex. Back to Morris, who gets it over. Furash tips it in. Reitma. And Garrett can't get to it acrobatically. And the Cougars get the point.
And that's the sort of difference you see between Garrett and Klimo, where Klimo, that's her specialty, is getting to those. Garrett couldn't quite come away with that play.
Eknes serving. Bell. Ryan! Jennifer Ryan, the freshman, gets it in. Really nice kill from her on the spike.
Beautifully finding that edge of the court. There were no players there to get there, and she found the line, got it in for that point.
Out for Stewart now as Furash gets ready to serve. And that's an ace! Miscommunication between Reitzma and Morris.
They both started to go for it, and they both stopped, and the ball went right between them.
Furash's next serve. This time Reitzma gets to it. Morris on the slam. Miller, slams it down for a kill. Really nice from her. Looks like she's going to serve, which means Hannah Godzilla is coming in to serve.
Up to serve for the Cougars, number 1, Hannah Godzilla.
Here's Godzilla's serve. Klimo gets it. And it's Garrett with the spike, but a little low. Hits the net.
And here we saw, rather than going for the aggressive spikes from the net, they're going for the defensive behind the 3-meter line.
Godzilla. There's Stewart. Herman gets a hand on it, but it goes back. Morris puts it over. Set up by Furash. Stewart tries to finesse it. Oh, that's a nice play there. That was Alexander Garrett with some defensive capabilities. Stewart collects it. Bell. Eknes steals. 22 will get the point. May not know her name, but we know that she got that kill.
And great job there. The block was all up in her face, but she still managed to hit it between the arms, so it deflected down instead of back. And here, Cougars serving, leading 5-4. They're an awkward spot at the net as the pass went back to the Cougars side. Failed block there, and that's a point for the Cougars.
It's Becca Morris there, gets it off the block and out. And she'll take that point. Up 2 now is the University of Minnesota Morris. Hannah Godzilla still serving. It's a nice run for the Cougars so far. And that run will be ended there by Bridget Bell.
They are showing her power just off of the dig. The dig could not do anything with it.
13th kill for her. We see Mackenzie Bright come back onto the court, replacing Alex Garrett, who's going to get a little drink of water. Bridget Bell now serving after that kill. There's Morris. And Bell can't deal with it.
She came from the side at a weird angle there. The block was set up at the net, but she just hit it around, and there was no one directly behind who was able to deal with it.
Nori serving now. Klimo. Furash sets it for Bright. Dug by Eknes. Bell up. This time a little tip from Maggie Stewart. Doesn't go, and that'll get in the corner for the Cougars. They're excited. Reitzma jumping up and down as they take a 3-point lead.
Here you could see.
And we're going to see switch of sides now that we've played 13, I guess. I suppose because it's the final set.
Yeah, because we play 2 on each side, alternating every other, and then this last one they swap in the middle to make it as fair as possible with who's on which side, and now we'll go into a timeout.
So the Jumbos seemed to be on the front foot earlier, but the Cougars have had a nice run now, and they've taken a big step towards winning this game. They're up 3.
And here we could see if they're able to get a few more and pull away. It could be our first big lead and our last big lead if the Jumbos can't turn it around. But we have seen some fire from them. We've seen some nice power hits from Furash and Bell. The crowd's been more into it and excited than any other set. So if there's ever a time for them to get fired up and get some points going, this would be it.
Looks like Bowdoin has changed for the game, but they're finding themselves without a court just for the meantime. It's going to be Nori still serving, but she swaps sides now. Jumbos come out. There's the buzzer. And here's the serve. Nori's serve hits the net. Maybe the switch of sides, change of location. Messed with her as Ryan comes off to be replaced by Wongpa. Now Klimo trying to get this lead, this Cougars lead down a little.
Klimo has proven herself to be able to produce some offense from the service line, even if she can't from the court, but not here. She serves into the top of the net.
There's the last thing the Jumbos would have wanted.
Exactly, and the service will go back to the Cougars. And back to Becca Morris, who has proven herself to be an all-around very strong player for the Cougars.
Furash. That was Stewart. Reitzma now hits it up. Eknes with the slam. And Wongpa really a little late with the reaction there. Probably should have gotten to that ball.
Yeah, Bell did her best with the dig there, but was only able to hit it low. Wongpa was not oriented the right way to dive for it until too late. And just an unfortunate positioning. And she can't redeem herself as she spikes that into a net. Recovered by her team, though.
And tipped off Mackenzie Bright. The Cougars get another point. And they're up 5. So you were talking about big leads, Freddie.
Definitely. This is probably the biggest we've seen this game. Or tied for the biggest, rather. And
that'll trigger a timeout from Cora Thompson. The Jumbos last year reached the Elite 8 in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Southwestern in Texas in one of the places in the U.S. with the coolest or funnest sounding, most fun name, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, the Cougars, as I mentioned, were defeated in the UMAC championship game. Trying to do a little better this season, and it seems like they have a chance, given how strong their team is.
Definitely, we've seen them play so well and for so long against a ranked team, a nationally ranked team in the Jumbos. And they have played together a little bit more, so they might have hit their groove as a team, but to be able to play 4 very long sets as they have, and now coming into the 5th with this 5-point lead, it shows great promise for them, and they may do better than last year. They might win that championship game.
Becca Morris serves into the net.
So now they've traded serves into the net, and the Jumbos will get another chance.
Do you think that could be a combination of the length of this game and also the pressure of this set?
I definitely see that some of the players on the side more are going to water breaks, more looking like they're tired, so there definitely might be a fatigue factor.
And that'll go there for Matthias. Its 5-point lead is preserved as Reitzma goes to the service line.
I think it's entirely possible that they're getting tired, the reactions are slowing, and those hard hits are hitting just a little bit harder.
There's Bell. Nori deals. Eknes, and that's almost up at us. A hard slam is redirected into the wall by Bridget Bell. She's going through her fundamentals a bit to just try and diagnose that. Give it a little post-mortem. Reitzma's second serve. Up by Bright. Tips it back. That was by Morris. And there's Eknes. Nice dig by Klimo. Recovered by Nori, ranging a long way. Reitzma.
Another great effort there to get over there. But not that time.
It's a bridge too far. As Reitzma miscontrols that one over to the wall. But still, though, the Jumbo's deficit is at 5, but Alexandra Garrett, it's maybe time for one of her really strong service runs. Tips it over. Wonkpa there. But the tip deadens it a little. Eknes. Nice recovery by Yu. And that was Farash. Off of the arms of Miller and Eknes, who had gone up for the block, and the Jumbos claw it down to 4.
Great awareness and play there with Wonkpa being close to the net, able to get that stray pass and try to put it down. And then great job by the Cougars. They were all over the place trying to save that, and now we're back in another timeout.
Jumbo's back-to-back points is an improvement of the run that they had earlier when they had failed to score for 5 or 6. We're going to see if any of this timeout could change that.
Even so, they're still down 4. They've got a ways to go, and they've got a little bit of time too, with Cougars still need 12 more to clinch this victory, but with the way the game has gone, it has been hard to get runs of points, mostly going up and down by 2s and 3s. So the Jumbos will have to really come together and pull this one out.
13-9, fourth set, 2 each. This one is for the game. And here's Alexander Garrett. Nori. Nice block by the Jumbos there. Not as nice a block there between Furash and Wonkpa. And that ball falls on their side of the net. And Garrett's serve is broken. Now it's Lane Herman's turn.
And that's like the blocks we saw at the beginning of the game in the first set, where they'd get there, but they just put it back on their own side.
Garrett gets it up. Furash. Herman digs nicely. And a nice job by the Jumbos there. Just got a little in the face of Eknes, and her smash went into the net.
And here's Wonkpa back to serve. She has had a couple mistakes on her serves and a couple runs on her serves. We'll see which one comes through here.
Herman up. Miller, nice. And Garrett, with her flair for diving for balls, isn't going to get to that one. Not even close. And we're going to switch sides again. Oh, excuse me. It's the 5th set, so I suppose they only played a 15. So the Cougars win.
That's our mistake for not being on top of that one.
A big upset for the Minnesota Morris Cougars as they triumph in 3 sets to 2. A surprising fashion over the Jumbos, and they just finished better, Freddie.
Yeah, they were just able to come together at the end of each set. With the exception of the last one, they were all within 5 or 3 or 4 really for the entire set, with the Cougars able to come together at the end with points. Here they led the entire set and were able to just continue that strength at the end of each set, and they came through.
And maybe the Jumbos shouldn't invite them next year after they disrespected the hosts on their home court. Anyway, the Cougars are going to play right again. We don't actually have that game for you, but if you want to come on down to Cousins Gymnasium, that game's going to start in probably half an hour. And meanwhile, sometime between probably 4 and 4:30, you would think, we're going to have the next Tufts game on JumboCast. Tufts is playing the Marymount Saints. They're coming up from Virginia for the weekend. So Freddie and I will be back for that one. I'm Charlie Driver here with Freddie Birnbaum. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of Tufts' defeat at the hands of the Minnesota Morris Cougars. 3 sets to the Cougars, 2 to the Jumbos. We'll be back later today. Have a good one.